It's I guess I'll start with the thing that makes me want to scratch my eyes out. Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh man.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, that part.
Lord have mercy. Jada Pinkett Smith. You know, the first meme I saw was like, haha, hoo hoo. This is funny. And after like day 4, I literally just want to be like, I'm tired of seeing this shit. But, it's the House of Boom podcast. So I forgot, talk about it a little bit. Man, it's so much to talk about this situation. And at the same time, I agree with Stephen A. Smith. And that's rare. Stephen A. Smith, he's a basketball head who tries to talk football. I don't often agree with his football takes. However, when he went on his show, Stephen A. Smith show, I must say, when he said, "Stop talking about it," Lord have mercy, I am worn out by the Jada Pinkett memes, and you're probably like, "Well, why are you talking about it on the podcast?" Because I need to express myself, because that's how worn out about it. I believe that Jada Pinkett Smith is really that lady that she played in The Matrix, and she was sent here to make us log off, because that's all I wanted to do. Like after a while, I'm gonna check in with a married brother though. Check it with a married brother, and just curious. I the resident married producer talks about his wife all the time.
Yeah.
How you feel about all this?
Personally, it's a few things. When I first started hearing the conversation that was being had, I didn't take to a knee-jerk reaction and respond. Because the truth is, nobody really knows what's happening in that house. Will could be a complete psycho.
Right.
He could be an absolute lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been dealing with this lunatic for all these years, and this is the coming out party.
Okay.
Right? On the other hand, I think that Will and Jada are very smart, very calculated, very posts on the culture or whatever, and I saved a healthy amount of space for it being a social experiment that Will and Jada decided to do to see who is going to pick what side, what kind of things would be said, what would be made up and believed as true. I can see something like that happening also.
Mm-hmm.
So in my Gemini brain, my take on it is that's their marriage. I don't appreciate it being on Front Street the way that it is, but people's lives are social currency now. Your business is actually you can get paid for your business, which is interesting to say, but I don't know, man. I always rest on if they like it, I love it. I ain't gonna yuck somebody's yum. I do think that there is a salaciousness around the clips that are floating around because there's no context. And that's kind of the thing I've been on a lot lately too. It's like we hear a bunch of shit minute after minute after minute after minute. And how much of it do we digest with the full context versus a clip that's on social media specifically to get people to click and engage, So
I hear that. I hear that wholeheartedly. The social experiment, I would say that's a different perspective. Them, I guess, doing the red table talks for years and years and years. Now that's done. I'm like,
what was the point of that shit?
What was the point of it? But it's like the context. It's like what like? It's like bringing back up the old stuff with the slap. Like, all right, cool. I'm like, I don't even think that's settled yet. So it's kind of like it's crazy. It's like, wait, so he slapped Chris Rock, but that he wasn't your man. You were surprised. He called you his wife. in that moment you want to defend Chris, but then like 2 days later you're like, oh, me and Will are working things out. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is like lunacy. And then my biggest, I guess the shit that makes it weird for me is the Tupac stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just and I was like, is this again? You said finger on the pulse of the culture.
Yeah.
A week or two after they've supposedly solved, or it's been solved, but now they arrest the guy that supposedly killed Tupac. All of a sudden, Jada talking about Tupac and his rant, and I'm like, okay, finger on the pulse there, but golly, like, I'm like was I often when I have friends who can't stop talking about somebody, maybe they were scarred by somebody, maybe they were, something happened between them, whatever the case may be. I often say, was the dick that good? Like, cause it's like you say you ain't sleep with this man, but like often I guess he gave you brain sex. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like what is it?
Sapiosexual vibe.
What is it? Like, did he touch you? Did he, the little meme with the sapiosexual and the touching the brain? Did he give it to you that good? Because it's like, yo, this man ain't even here to talk about his side of the story, and you telling it like you was this A1 since day one. And then then all these people come out with all these other women that Pac had. Like, so you was the one. It just kills me. I'm just like, yo, this is crazy.
Did you see the interview that she did with Fat Joe?
I saw a snippet of it, but I don't remember exactly what was said.
That was a good interview. She was saying that she's like, because he asked her straight up, no filter questions. Like,
is that the one where she said she kissed him or something like that? And then
I don't know if that's the one, but in this one they were in the sneaker store trying on sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, there's rumors out here, Jada, they saying that you and Pac, y'all had this love thing going on, and blah. She was like, when did I ever say that? She's like, I never said that I was with Pac or he wanted to be with. She said, the truth be told, I never was with Pac. She said, I never was with Pac. I never had a thing with Pac. We never had anything. He was just like a very endearing friend of hers.
And your soulmate.
But the truth is, soulmates don't necessarily mean a monogamous relationship together forever. Okay. Soulmates can be, if you have a male best friend, that is a soulmate. Okay. If you have family members that you just click with, that favorite auntie or that favorite cousin, y'all are soulmates. Mm-hmm. We've been taught that soulmates are only relegated to romantic relationships, and that's not true. It's just not true, because how do you explain the capacity to be able to love multiple people at multiple levels? You love your mom, your dad, your aunt, your grandma, your cousin, your sister, your brother. You have all of these different loves, and you express them differently in those relationships, but somehow we don't have the capacity to have more than one person that is quote unquote a soul mate, a soul buddy,
Fair enough. To that point though, I feel like Pac got a room on their house, bro.
He in the second floor.
He on the second floor, like it's a room with a shrine in it, and with some flowers. And she light a candle to him every night and talk to his spirit like as the ghost. I'm so serious. Like, I'm like, yo, like and as somebody who's lost his mother, I can understand missing that special person in your life. Yeah. So I get it. there's something in there, but those are, I don't know, like you said, mother, maybe the different relationship factors or whatever, like mother son, okay, father daughter, I don't know, those things. It it's just weird to me, bro.
Yeah, I can definitely see how, for sure. You know, it's not a place that we all get a chance to navigate through.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you be in a successful relationship outside of the context of trust and compassion and understanding and those things that is the through line to like a healthy relationship. The thing is, even with all of those even with the through line, you have nuances in the through line.
Mm-hmm.
You have people who have a mom, but the mom really ain't a mom. She doesn't um activate the space that a mom activates for her child.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do in that dynamic when you have a mom who doesn't act like a mom but still demands that you give her the reverence of mom? I've been saying for the past couple of years, if you have a job and you go to your job every day and your job, you don't do your job, you get fired
Mm-hmm.
because you're not performing the function of the title.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of this relationship stuff, we have been relegated to think that the title means something when the function gets kind of pushed to the side. It's like, what makes a best friend a best friend? What makes a mom a mom? What makes a dad a dad? What makes a friend a friend? What makes a sibling a sibling? What makes a aunt or uncle or grandparent? What makes those things true? Like, we know as you get older,
Mm-hmm.
there's family that you're born into, and there's family you choose.
Mm-hmm.
Family you choose could be the squad, your football squad. It could be your buddies at the golf range. It could be whatever it is. But I think there's so many nuances and gray areas when it comes to relationships. I would be hard pressed to say like nah, well, we all have it figured out. Nah, we don't, because the dynamic of each individual connection changes how you show up in that certain relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It completely changes it. If we just business partners, then the way that I would show up for you as my business partner is going to be completely different than if I show up as as if I show up as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be different. It's not to say that you can't be my friend and my business partner, but I think there's rules of engagement that we miss out on because we have these different ideologies that nobody created, but we all subscribe to.
I don't know. If I'm with a shorty, she got like twice to mention the old dude, and then after that third one, all right,
Peace out, shorty.
you got you
Yeah.
you might have some unresolved stuff. Well, if I feel like this dude got a space in our relationship, it's kind of like it's like crowded. It's a crowded situation.
Yeah, facts. That part.
And I don't know. God bless Will if that's something that he's been working through all these years. You know what I mean? It's not to say he's perfect or he ain't did what he had to do. There's always rumors about his side of the story and stuff that he's done. But man, that's a tough situation. And I mean, have you experienced that in your relationship in growing with the wife?
Shoot. Not experience from the other side, but been the one.
Okay.
Like with my oldest son's mom, our relationship was what it was. We didn't plan on having a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It just she was away at college, went away to college. She missed her cycle, and I became a dad. That being said, in a young relationship, moving more mature in a young relationship, definitely gave me. I was jaded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, keep it a 1,000, and I would make mention, not from a, well, she used to do this and you don't, but it was like, this is what this old relationship was, and I don't want to do that again in this. See, this thing happening right here, this like how it was over there, and now I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
You see this right here, this was happening, and then one day she's like, yo, this is not that. Like, this ain't that. So either we gonna do this and be cool with doing this, or you could live in that, and that could be the reality. So not the same in terms of like, you know, this guy and I love her, or I mean this girl and I love her, or her saying this guy and I love him. But you know, exes do have a bit of a stronghold in your space. They make you either not want to be free or be free. And you know, my wife chin checked my shit like like, yo. You know what I'm saying? She like, yo, yeah, this is, we in this. And either we gonna be in this or we ain't gonna be.
How long did it take for you to just? How long what was the process of that? Like, how long were you guys going with the back and forth with that? Or was that before you were married, or was it during?
No, this was 5 years into our marriage.
Okay.
Which is actually 8 years into our relationship, which was 12, 13 years since her and I was even in a relationship.
Wow.
So it was like that timeline of like getting hurt and experiencing what I experienced, it left a stain enough where I'm chatting shit about an ex, even though it's not in the context of like I want to get back with her or whatever. But you know, that's another space people got to watch out for too. The comparison of whether it's good, bad, or ugly, or indifferent, is, it doesn't, again, how we, I'll speak for myself, how I view relationships has changed, especially once I hit 40. I hit 40 and I'm like, yeah, we've been lied to how this thing is supposed to be. We have all of these rules that nobody wrote, but we, like, again, we all subscribe to them shits, you know?
Nah, I feel that.
How about you? You ever been in a situation where
I probably was the one lady that I was with after a major relationship.
Yeah.
She felt the other energy, or the residue, I call it, of the old relationship. And it, I don't want to say it played a heavy part, but I think I think she didn't understand there was a lot of compounding factors to why I was holding myself back, but that was the easiest thing for her to target and say, well, you're still not over this person and this da-da-da-da, when it really was, oh yeah, we broke up and my mom died at around the same time. My heart wasn't really in a place to be like, I want somebody to occupy that space.
Nah, you hurt. Mom's gone. That's the OG.
So as much as she like tried hard to like get through to me, it's like somebody yelling at you in a room and you like, and they tell you, oh, I love you, as loud as they can from the top of their heart, you still can't hear it because it's a wall up. And so I think she thought it was the thing, like those things finalized around the same time. So it was like double whammy. Like, all right, you get hit with the life-changing thing, and then the person who you probably think is going to have your back and hold you, at least, you know, got you, they going too.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pretty situation. So it gave me a lot of trust issues and made me fearful to open myself back up to somebody, even although that person was treating me good. And then they got tired of it and dipped. Which was good. They're good. They're doing good in life and all that good stuff now.
Married, couple kids.
And you know, I don't say, you know, I take responsibility. I don't say everything is my fault. She did some things too, so it wasn't like it wasn't. She added to some things that
It wasn't
caused.
all on you.
Yeah, but I always take responsibility. Say that one. I probably if I could have did that one over again, I probably would have. I wish the wall was down to accept it. And I don't like to say, oh, the one that got away, but I'll be like, nah. I wish that didn't turn out that way. That being said, nowadays I don't even want to know. I don't want to know too much about your ex. I don't want to. I don't like especially you know how people like. Well, you've been out the game for a minute, but like a lot of times, ladies they want to know everything on the first night, and then you tell them, then they get scared, or they think you hide something if you don't tell them, and it's like nah. These days, my approach is like I don't even want to know. Are you single? Are you really single? All right, cool. You're here. Yeah. I'm here. Let's move forward from here because at this point. Ain't no, it's no point. I don't want to know about your ex. I don't want. Are you over that? Are you not? Yeah. If you're not over that, I can nurse some wounds. If it's something that they did that deeply cut you, you might need to go to therapy because I don't think that I don't think it's kind of like what Lisa from the Juice Factory said. Like I don't want to be your caretaker, which means I don't want to be your therapist. I don't want you to be my therapist. I want to go to a therapist for a therapist. I want to enjoy the relationship. Now, of course, the stuff gonna have its ups and downs, and disagreements. It's two individuals getting together. They just learning to know each other and all that other stuff. But the stuff that deeply cuts you and that's gonna hold you back. That's something you might have to talk to somebody else about, and then I help out when I can. Yeah, and I think that sometimes people come into these relationships and they really just looking for somebody to drop the burden off of onto like like women. Sometimes they talk about their exes and then they want you to be responsible. They tell you the stuff because they don't want you to do what the ex did. Yeah, and that's kind of like what you said. But then you be like, I don't want to be on the hook for this.
That's a fact. And we do it too. Like I said, I did it. As much as I was trying to avoid a repeat relationship, I was so on guard that I wasn't allowing the space for the nuances to show up. Like I wasn't allowing the kindness and the way that my wife loves and the things that my wife do. I wasn't allowing it the space to even breathe. I'm like, nah, I look like a duck, walk like a duck. That shit's a duck. You know what I mean? And what I've to each his own. Right. I always land on that. But to your point, as far as like not being each other's therapists, I don't want you to handle me like you know more than me emotionally, or more like you're trying to school me. Mm-hmm. But I do appreciate being a soft place to land that I can discuss these different things that are happening in my field, happening in my mind, happening in my soul, and I can at least communicate that. I think that's a good place to be because if nothing else, I feel safe with you with all my shit, and you feel safe with me with all your shit. There's no, I ain't gonna say this because X, or I'm not gonna say that because Y. I'm giving you the fullness of me, the fullness of the experience of me, not for you to critique and cut me down and criticize me, but to help build me up, to help give me a space that in this world that as men, and you can attest, we be in the world fighting this shit every day. Right. I ain't trying to come home and be fighting. I ain't trying to come home and now I have to be on guard with you. Right. I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do that. And in my marriage, we don't do that. It didn't happen overnight. Like it took time to get there. We 11 years in, 14 years in a relationship. So it took time to get there. But now that I'm there, I'm glad how we started because it wasn't all sex heavy and shit like that. She had a kid, I had a kid, and I wanted to be sure. So there was certain things that we checked off early, early. Like, you're mad at me and we didn't have sex, and that's not something we can fall back on as a way to like cope with the situation. You know what I'm saying? So I again, to each his own. It is what it is. But I think there's a certain level of selflessness you have to have when you are in a relationship with somebody, because you're in a relationship with somebody. You're not in a relationship with just yourself.
Right.
You're not taking you out on dates and flying yourself out and all of that, which is cool. And I hope that that's what it is for you, because you need that. But, you have to leave room for the other person, like point blank period.
Yeah, man. You gotta leave room. And that's why I said, like, I don't mind having those moments. But I just that sometimes what I realize is that maybe this is just a mistake, that I have, is that I'm too good of a listener. And then, I remember at one point in time I would meet ladies, and then it would be scary, some of the stuff they would tell me once they got comfortable. I'd be like, oh man, I don't want to. And then I'd be like, man, I don't want to know this. And it would scare me off. And I'd be like, all right, because it's like, all right, well, sometimes I'm gonna avoid a relationship that really is starting off as trauma bonding. That sometimes people don't realize that. Yeah. And unfortunately, when you are a good listener and people recognize that you're a good listener, like a non-judgmental, you don't feel like you could just tell this person the world. Sometimes ladies have a tendency to, I don't want to say overshare, but that's kind of like the thing. But then the overshare becomes an anchor, and then the anchor weighs on me, and I'm like, this is not what I want. It's like sometimes it can take the joy out of a relationship, or they dump, and this is just people in general. This is not just relationship, brotherhood, whatever. Sometimes people do that, and then it becomes like a snot rag. Like, oh, let me get rid of all this mucus that I've been walking around with.
Damn.
And then you realize, like, all you did was dump something on me, dump something off just so you could feel free. So that's the I don't know what the term is.
Bars. That was a bar, dog.
Thank you. But that's kind of like the curse of a good listener. That's the curse of a good listener, that sometimes you become people like, now I'll be honest with you, nowadays, even when some of my boys call me, I'll be like, all right, what's up? Like, I got one emergency in me, bro.
Yeah,
that's all. I got one emergency in me. Is it really that bad? Cool. Other than that, and if that and I've had to take that same approach with people too.
Yeah.
Where I say, I'm only giving out one emergency, and it better be a real one. Yeah. Because I don't want nobody walking around with my stuff.
That's true. And that shit's tricky. It's tricky because it's like, if I don't want to be a burden to you, because I feel like whatever I'm going through is a burden to you, then what place do I find solace or the freedom to express if I don't journal, if I don't have another way of expressing myself? You get me?
Okay, so like I hear the direction you're going, right? And this is the balance of things that goes through my mind. Got this whole big mental health. You gotta have somebody to talk to, but sometimes when I feel like having somebody to talk to cripples your ability to think and figure shit out for yourself.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And that's the battle I have. Like, is this a situation where I got to figure this shit out for myself, or is this something that I got to rest with somebody? Pray, I try to pray, meditate, whatever, and I'm a classic overthinker too. So I was like, I don't want to. I don't. Do I want to rest this or? But I'm learning to be selective with what I give out. Back in the day, you tell all your homies everything. You know what I mean? Or your closest lady or your girlfriend. Then it's like,
let me keep this to myself.
Just keep it to yourself. Which goes back to the whole premise of this whole Jada conversation. Like, how much of this do I feel like she could just keep some of this to herself? Like, so I feel like it almost cheapens. Who that, Reg? What up, Reg? It almost cheapens the specialness or all these special moments that you supposedly had with Pac and all this and all that. It almost cheapens it to give it out to the world because that's your treasure.
Yeah, I understand that perspective. I do.
Like, who needs to know that? Who really needs to know that? Like, Instagram, if he almost proposed to you, maybe that's the secret you take with you to your grave.
Yeah.
Then just like that lady with the Titanic moment. When it's getting older, then you drop that shit in the drop at the bottom of the ocean, and that be you. Like, what part of that story does it serve to have that told? Like, you was the one. Well, and then somebody pulled out the receipts and said, "Well, you weren't the only one he proposed to." So it's kind of like, it's just that balance of just knowing, like, you know what I mean. And that's the other part about it is I think that's where the mental health thing, when it comes to that, like having a therapist to talk to, I was like, yeah, because then when you go there, it stays there.
Yeah, that's true. Because then a lot of times, a lot of men fall into the category where we don't share with women. And I hate to do the gross generalizations. I can just say, from the field of guys that I hang out with, that I've hung out with, that I've had the chance to be around, a lot of guys don't feel comfortable with sharing some of those intricate, intimate, vulnerable situations, thoughts, ideologies, feelings, because they feel like it's going to be thrown in their face. At the first moment of an argument,
right?
This stuff that I'm telling you out of trust and out of being open, you immediately throw it in my face. So it's like, I've been in that situation. Probably every man that I know has been in that situation. And it's unfortunate because it's like, where the culture of relationships is built on show me yours before you show me yours before I show you mine. And that's not healthy. Because how am I going to get to know you if I got my guard up and I'm immediately going in with my guard up because I don't want to tell you shit because the last two girls I used to tell shit used it against me and blah, blah, blah. Now, nobody don't trust nobody. Everybody fucked up in the game, and now the dating pool got pee and syringe needles and shit. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's a weird dynamic, and I hope that a lot of us do find space to share, to be trusting enough to let go some of that protecting my heart type shit, or else we all gonna be the Grinch with the low heart. Like, what's happening? What is this thing going on? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that part.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's just a little expression of getting this Jada stuff out my, because I think it's starting to die down a little bit now that the actual book is out.
Yeah,
and I think that I'm like over it. Like when I said it in the beginning, and I was joking, but I was so serious. I really felt like her job was to make. She was that lady from the Matrix, and her job was to sit here is throw all this stuff out there to the point where your eyes start burning, and you just like, let me unplug myself from the Matrix real quick, cause I don't want to know no more. I don't want. I literally, you know how
I'm sick of this.
I think it was like Friday, Saturday. I just logged off. I was like, I don't want to be on social media anymore. This isn't fun anymore. Like even the jokes was getting tired. Like I'm like, I'm good. I don't, you know, I don't care about Will Smith. Like he ain't said nothing. What do I need to know?